Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. It's so easy to waste money, and while I'm a huge advocate for saving and investing, the goal with money isn't to hoard it and never spend anything. The goal is to spend it wisely, to spend it on things that bring you joy and matter to you. Ultimately, that means we don't want to waste money on things that don't matter to us. So here's a list of things that I don't spend money on that literally save me thousands of dollars a year. Travel. Okay, so I probably don't mean to say that we don't travel, because we do. I actually think travel is incredibly important, but we don't pay a lot when we travel. And that's because we use credit card rewards. So that means a lot of times we have free flights or free hotel stays, so it doesn't cost a lot when we travel. The way we do this is we sign up for credit cards, make sure to capture those sign-up bonuses, and then later convert those credit card points into free flights and free hotel stays. I think this is an amazing way to use credit cards. And our rules with credit cards is we don't buy anything we wouldn't otherwise buy with or without the credit card, and we make sure to pay them off in full every single month because there is no reward point that's worth paying 20% interest on something. In our household, we don't really spend anything on hair maintenance or nails or anything that's really those traditional beauty services. We buy shampoo, conditioner, and I think my husband uses some kind of gel or hair paste, but that's it. Haircuts, we spend a whopping $0. My husband is an active duty service member, which means there's a lot of rules that pertain to his hair. Hair must be a natural color, cannot exceed 2 inches in length, sideburns can't extend below the ears, hair can't touch the ears, hair can't touch the collar, there can be a fade, it must be natural. There's a lot of rules. And all of this boils down to him needing a haircut every 2 weeks. And I've been doing this since we've been dating, so a little bit under 10 years. I looked it up. The average cost for a man to get his haircut is $35. So that means this saves us over $900 a year. Same for myself. I trim my own hair. It's pretty easy to do. And if you mess it up, you just curl it the next day and nobody will ever notice. I just want to say I didn't mess up a haircut. I just happened to curl it today. I'm actually due for a haircut. But the average woman gets her haircut about 4 times a year. Average price, $55. So that saves us another $220 or so. And this doesn't even include the cost of coloring or styling if a woman does that, which can easily make salon visits $100 or $200 a pop, which is mind-blowing to me. And finally, our pup, we have a Yorkie. He has hair just like us, so it grows and it needs to be trimmed. I would take him to the groomer, but it stresses him out so much and I can't stand to see him like that. So because he hated it so much, with lots of treats, I learned how to do it and trim his nails as well. Depending on the season, he gets trimmed about once a month or once every 2 months. Comes out to about 9 trims a year. Let me grab him to show off his cute little haircut. For anyone who hasn't met him, this is Peanut, and going to the groomer is actually quite expensive. It's like $100 a trip. So by trimming his hair myself, we save about $900 a year. And honestly, I find it way more convenient to do these things myself at home anyway, because cutting my hair or my husband's hair takes like 10 minutes. You just get it done real quick and then get on with your day. It's one less errand you have to do. Another area you won't catch me spending any money: home decor. And I've actually received some comments about this here on YouTube. People saying that my walls need some sort of photos or some sort of artwork hung up on them. And I do agree that it would be nice to see some pictures of my family or friends on the walls, but by and large, home decor is kind of lost on me. I like to keep things simple. I like things clean and tidy. The more stuff you have, the more clutter your space has. And I have friends that do a beautiful job of decorating their home, and I can absolutely appreciate that. But it's just not a priority for me, and if it doesn't serve a function, I'm not buying it. And again, it saves me time. I can probably clean my whole house top to bottom in less than an hour because I don't have to clean around a bunch of stuff. And it really works for our lifestyle because we move a lot every 3 to 4 years, and when you're packing up your life in boxes every 3 to 4 years, you really start to question how essential your stuff is. Included in this category would be home decorations. There's no way I'm buying something that I would put out for a couple weeks only to put back into a box and in storage for the remaining 11 months of the year. No thank you, not interested. Meal delivery. 60% of people order takeout or delivery every single week. And an increasing number of these orders are coming from food delivery apps. And food delivery apps have a way of making things more expensive. They increase the price on the individual meals, they tack on a delivery fee, and all of this is prior to the tip. So that means what would have cost you, say, $30 in a restaurant now costs $50 simply to have delivered to your home. The one caveat here is that we do have an Amex card that offers up a $25 Uber credit every single month, so we make sure to take advantage of that, and we do pickup for this service. But outside of that, we don't use these food delivery apps. There's too much of an upcharge. I can't justify the expense. And I really think you can put restaurant meals as a whole in this category. Cooking at home is generally more cost effective and generally a lot healthier. So we tend to eat out once, maybe twice a month. While I do think preparing your own food is a great way to save money, sometimes you go through phases of life where you're just incredibly busy, and having prepared meals gives you a way to kind of buy back your time. So if you're in a phase of life like that, sometimes you have to do what you have to do. Drinks of any kind outside the home are another thing I simply can't justify the cost of. Soda, alcohol, whatever, it doesn't matter. If my husband and I go out to eat, we get water, that's it. And depending on the drink or the restaurant, these drinks can be an additional $5 or $10 and sometimes double the cost of your meal. Now, we are a big coffee loving household and we have a standing coffee date every Sunday morning, which I love. But even then, we rarely pay for coffee because I feel like we always have a Starbucks gift card. I feel like that is the number one gift we're given in life, which I appreciate because I love these coffee dates. But outside of that once a week trip, we make our coffee at home. Most items I would use for a single use are a no-go for me. Think an outfit for a single event, like a wedding or a vacation, or an overly specialized tool that I would use for just one project, or overly specialized kitchen gadget. I don't need a tool specifically designed for avocados. A good set of knives will do. General rule of thumb is that I don't buy a product that I'm simply going to use once and then it's going to sit in a closet or a drawer just taking up space. I feel like I don't get my money's worth. I made a video about the $1 rule, which stressed the importance of cost per use rather than the overall cost per item. And I thought that's a great way to look at things because the more you use something, the more value you get out of it. I am not a huge fan of subscriptions. If something requires a monthly commitment, immediately I start double and triple checking the value of this product or service. My husband does have Amazon Prime, not my decision because quite frankly, I don't mind waiting 5 days for an order to show up, but hey, I get it, it's convenient, and he loves it. We also have Netflix because it does come through our cell provider. I don't want to overly commit to streaming services because the whole point of streaming services is actually to save money compared to cable. So often I see people sign up for like 12 of them and then they're back at or more than the cost of what cable would have been. And also if I sign up for too many of these, I'm probably more likely just to sit around and watch TV, and I don't want to do that too much either. Or there's all sorts of subscription boxes that you can commit to, whether they're for beauty or for clothes or for your kids or for your dogs. And I just don't feel like you need new clothes every single month. And my dog certainly doesn't need new toys every single month because his old ones are his favorites anyhow. So I just feel like the less subscriptions you have, the better. We don't really do presents just for the sake of giving a present. Now, don't get me wrong. A birthday, Christmas, anniversary come along, my husband and I or my family members and I will look at each other and say, what would you like? And I will happily get somebody something that they actually wanted. But I stick to a list because I don't want to buy somebody something that they didn't even want. Likewise, I don't want someone buying me something that I don't want. A lot of times my husband and I end up saying to each other, nah, I'm good, there's nothing I really want. Actually, my brother and I tend to bother the rest of the members of our family because we have a strict don't buy us a gift policy unless we've actually asked for it, because we do not want clutter and junk to come into our homes. I would rather spend time with my family and friends rather than spending a bunch of money on gifts that they don't need. And don't get me wrong, presents can absolutely be special. But so often when we end up just buying a present because an occasion calls for it, those presents just get wasted and unused. Now, don't get me wrong, I love reading, but I don't buy books or magazines anymore. The library has them for free, so anytime I'm looking for a book or a magazine, I simply head to the library. And if they don't have a particular book that I'm looking for, I ask them to get it. They've always said yes thus far, and a week or two later, I'm reading that new book I wanted. Most books we tend to read only once, so why buy them, read them, then put them on a shelf just to sit there collecting dust? Ditch the books, but keep reading. Excessive amounts of anything. It's really easy to simply buy too much. We buy too much food at a grocery store and end up having to throw a bunch of it away because it went bad before we could eat it. Or we buy enough clothes to fill up a walk-in closet only to wear a tiny portion of our actual wardrobe. Or we take up a new hobby and buy every single item associated with that new hobby only to give it up a couple months later. Or say we need a new Sharpie. We head to Costco and get a pack of 100 thinking I'll never have to buy Sharpies again, and then all of a sudden you lose half of them or they dry up and eventually you have to go buy a Sharpie again and the process repeats itself. It's so easy to have an excessive amount of stuff. We buy it with good intentions, but then we never end up actually using it. I try to default to the idea of buying less because if I find that I'm running low on something, I can always go out and make an additional purchase. But if I bought too much stuff and I have drawers and closets full of everything imaginable, now I have to go through the process of decluttering and facing the fact that I wasted money, and all of that is just frustrating. I think for me, these are the biggies, the one that make the biggest impact on our budget and help us save money. What are some that you would add to the list? Give me some ideas, add them in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye.